Learn how to make a game in one of the most famous programming languages in the world? If you plan on going into a job with computers, it is likely that you'll be using a lot of Python. It is also a fun hobby to pick up. I have taken a computer science class, and my uncle works with Python almost every single day. Learning to make a game in Python is a great way to start learning how to code. In this speech, I'll be explaining how to make a fun game in Python, specifically TicTacToe, and I'll get into some other insight on some other features on the Python programming language. So let's make a TicTacToe game in Python. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about what a definition is. A definition allows you to type all the code in one spot so that you don't have to retype it over and over again. So if we just type all this into a function, into a definition, it is going to, every time we type this function again, it's going to basically type all this again for us. So here's our print board. So we have, this is basically just printing all of the spots of our board and all the lines, make sure everything's lining up and all that. So then we have our check win. And this is basically just checking if X is winning or if O is winning. So it's checking all the spots, seeing if there's an X in it, if there's an O in it, and it's seeing if there's three X's in one row, three O's in one row. It's going to make sure that it says O wins or X wins. So here's going to be our check tie. And then what our check tie does is it checks if there's a tie. So if the space is not in board, then it has to be a tie. And then we have our def get input. Now this is a very big function here. So this is going to ask the player to do their input. So it says enter a position 1 to 9. So X or O will enter a position 1 to 9. And it also makes sure that the player doesn't enter a number that is outside of the 1 to 9 range. So you can see if they do enter a number, say 27, it's going to say invalid move, try again. And then here's going to be our main function here. All right. Now, what this main function is going to do is it's going to combine all the other functions into one so that all the functions are in order and the game runs smoothly. So it's going to print welcome to TicTacToe first off, and then it's going to print our board as well. And it's going to set player to X because the first player is usually X in a game of TicTacToe. And then it's just going to stack all the functions right there. So if check win X, so we have our player here. So if check win is X, then it says X wins. If it's O, it would say O wins. And then break just basically stops all the code. So if X wins, it's going to stop. If O wins, it's going to stop the entire game. And then we have check tie. So this is going to print it's a tie if check is true. Or if check tie is true, it's going to say it's a tie. And then break, once again, stops all the code. So if there is a tie, it's going to completely end the entire game. And then player equals O, if player equals X, else X. Now this code right here is making sure that there is no two O's or two X's. There's always going to be one O and one X. All right. So now we have our if main equals main. Now what this code does is it basically just keeps the game going and it doesn't just end the game on a random turn. So now let's play test and make sure that X is able to win. All right. So first let's start off with the X winning. We can do 1 and then 2 and then 4 and then 5 and then 7. You can see it says player X wins. So that works perfectly. And next we can check if O is able to win. All right. So let's get our boards back up and let's do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. And you can see it says player O wins there as well. And so next, let's move on to checking a tie. So let's do 1, and then 2, and then 5, 3, 6, 4, 7, 9, and 8. And you can see it says it's a tie. And I'm not going to be, obviously I didn't demonstrate how to type all the code, but I did demonstrate how to play test and how to make sure that the game is running smoothly. And the reason I didn't demonstrate how to type all the programming was that I already tried that one time and it would take way too long. It took me about 10 minutes to type this all by itself. So that's why I chose to demonstrate just the play testing and the making sure that the game runs smoothly and not demonstrating how to type all the code, because obviously if you can already see all the code, it should work out fine. TicTacToe game in Python is a great way to start learning how to code, and Python is a great language, and coding is fun and education. All the main points I said came from numerous articles online, specifically Regulob 2023, Towley 2020, Rama 22.2, and Kenlon 2020. Now that you know how to create a simple game in Python, how are you going to continue your journey of programming?